What's up, guys? Welcome to the Top Shelf Show. My name is Dustin Kinnan. We are so excited to have you here. On this show, we talk to high-quality entrepreneurs and business owners about life, about family, about work, about goals and dreams and everything that goes into being an entrepreneur. We are so excited to have you here. We hope you walk away with some incredible insight into their lives and their stories and some inspiration for your business and your brand and achieving the goals that you have for your life. Thank you so much for checking it out, and we'll see you in there. Well, guys, welcome to the Top Shelf Show. Today, we've got Ian with Our Patch Family Chiro. Try that again. Our Patch Family Chiropractic.
That's a mouthful, yeah.
Runs it with his wife, Ashley. Before we get into stuff, tell me about Our Patch. Like, what do y'all do? You and Ashley kind of like lay the tell us about the things.
Yeah, so wife and I started the practice. My wife is also a chiropractor, Dr. Ashley, and she and I started the practice because we just...
Nope. Keep going. Yep,
we'll edit that out. We started the practice because, like most people started, we saw a need and we wanted to fill it. Mm-hmm. And that need was we wanted a healthcare office that didn't feel like a healthcare office. It felt like a home for the whole family. And we all wanted to do it in all kind of a low force way because, you know, when you think of chiropractors, you think of the popping, the twisting, the cracking,
the social media
body
videos
slamming,
like,
yanking your neck, all those things that, you know, some people love that stuff, more power to you. But I think a larger percent of the population look at that and be like, I don't know if I like really that. What I like. Yeah. And so we kind of were like, well, can we do chiropractic without needing to do that? Can we reach a big enough audience, reach big people to make an impact, and help people's lives without having to pop or twist or any of that stuff, just to reach the part of the population that doesn't want that stuff, but still needs help. And that's kind of why we started Our Patch. And so we kind of have two specialties. So Ashley, Dr. Ashley is specialized in mamas and babies. So all the perinatal, so the preconception, pregnancy, birth and postpartum on the mom side, and then the pediatrics on the kids side. That's her jam. She's fantastic at that. And then I take care of kind of the rest of us, but I do so with an upper cervical technique, which is called NUCA. That is a low force adjustment approach that kind of tailors the adjustment to your anatomy that I find on specific x-rays and a bunch of nerdy stuff that we might get into later, but basically low force, balancing your body, adjusting your spine, creating health, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And you guys, Our Patch has been around 3 years now?
3 years.
3 years, yeah. The amount of like growth you guys have had in 3 years is crazy, because you guys are like, okay, so for those of y'all watching at home, which is everyone, you guys started Our Patch and then had Cece like within a year, right?
She was born like a year and 2 months after our official start date. So we got pregnant with her in like our month 4.
Yeah. So in 3 years, you guys have built a incredibly successful like chiropractic office, had your first child, and then now like very shortly, as of the time of the recording, like coming up on like the second kid. Y'all have had a pretty and y'all moved from California. That was the other thing.
Yeah, it's been a busy 3 years.
Yeah. Like, so moved to the other side of the country, start the practice, first daughter, and then second child on the way, and like had a couple things going on in 3 years, like just a little bit.
Yeah.
What's that been like, being like kind of juggling a lot of like big life moments and then also building the practice?
So they say like the 3 most stressful things in a life is like a move, starting a business, having a child, buying a house, and we did all but buying a house in 1 year. Yeah. And then we just bought our house just a couple months ago. So we got that. Yeah. We needed, we're very efficient. I guess is the moral of the story. No, it's had a lot of ups and downs. Real talk. There's been times where we're like, oh my gosh, what have we done? Yeah. And other times, which is actually the majority of the time, where it's like, thank goodness and thank God for what we're doing, because it's so fun and so rewarding to have done it, and just putting your boots on the ground and say, okay, this needs to happen because we moved here. We didn't know anybody. Yeah. You don't have family to fall back on. Don't have anything to fall back on. Neither of us moved here with jobs lined up because we knew we were going to start our own job. Yeah. And so when we started, it was kind of like, well, we have this amount of money to last us X amount of months. Yeah. In that time, we have to start a practice and get enough income so that we can support our life in that and not go bankrupt in the first few months of practice. Yeah. So it was kind of like sink or swim. And so the fire was lit under our ass, and it's
had to go.
It's been rewarding.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the two things that, like, just in talking with business owners, right? Like the two things that are typically there are other things, I'm sure, but two of the biggest catalysts for people, right? When it comes to like really like diving in on the business and really like building and growing and like, hey, this thing has to, when I say successful, I don't necessarily mean money. It could just be like growth. It could be whatever those goals are, but like, hey, we really need to like go all in on this thing. Yeah. One of them is, I feel like it's always like kids, it's family. It's like when you get to like, I know for me, like when we had Ollie, it was just like, oh crap, like it's not just me and Elizabeth anymore. Like now we got a little dude, and like dude eats and needs diapers, and there's responsibility there. Like, hey, this has to work. Yeah. Like there is no a friend of mine has a thing that he says a lot. Like we burn the ships. Like there is no there is no other alternative. Like this has to work, right? And I feel like it's family, and then it's when you have that passion of like, hey, like I love what you said about like, for some people they want to go get popped by a chiropractor, and like that's cool. But for us, like we wanted to kind of reach everybody else who wanted a low force, like less I don't want to say impactful, but like a less like jarring experience. They wanted something that was going to be effective and going to like solve the problem, right? Going to be get them where they needed to be, but maybe with a little less like anxiety around it. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. And because people who are not so gung-ho about that traditional method of chiropractic will ask me, and what do you want to know coming into a chiropractor? And they're like, bottom line, I just want to know that I'm not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Right. And whether or not they would get hurt with the traditional method or not is kind of irrelevant in that instance. Yep. Because if they perceive that they're going to get hurt, no words that I can say is going to convince them that they won't until they do it. And the vast majority of the time, overwhelming majority of the time, they're not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
With the traditional method. But if they have anxiety about it, we know that the mind is super powerful, and that's going to have a negative effect on their outcomes, whether we want it or not. Yeah. If they have that negative view on it, maybe they're a little sore afterwards, and then their anxiety starts. And so now they're like, oh my God, they hurt me. And then they get tense, and now it hurts more. And, it's a whole snowball effect. So we're just like, well, we're just not going to do that. We're going to say, well, if that's what you're afraid of, good news, you're here, because we don't do that.
Yeah. So with that's a really a really good point. Like, especially in like medical health and wellness, like very much in that realm of things, right? Which obviously it's a very wide realm, but like one of the biggest things is, inspiring trust in people. Like, hey, like you said, very much, I've thought about going to the chiropractor, but like I've seen the videos, and like looks like they snap their head off, and I don't really want that, like how, and obviously you guys have done this with the growth you guys have had. Like, there's no way you guys would have gotten to where you are without like doing this. Like, what have you found has been like one of the best ways of like kind of inspiring that trust and kind of like being able to build that confidence in someone who, is scared going to the chiropractor for the first time?
Yeah, taking the time to explain and understand what's going on, what's actually causing the pop, what's doing, I think that's the biggest part, is just explain what's going on, hear their fears and acknowledge them, and kind of explain, not that they're ridiculous for having these views, but actually saying, hey, that's valid. I get it. Yeah. A stranger with credentials is taking your neck and moving in a way that doesn't seem normal. I think any rational person would have some apprehension when we put it in that way. So there's a lot of trust that has to go into it, and just explaining things pretty thoroughly and non-biased and not salesy, and just saying, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. This is why some people feel sore afterwards. This is why. And then giving them expectations for after their first adjustment. Like we give people a sheet with the common things that might happen after their first adjustment. Gotcha. So they can read. I say, hey, read this. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And then if there are certain things with that specific case that they might want to look out for, say they have a super degenerated neck with a lot of disc wear and tear, they may feel fairly sore after the first adjustment, even with a low force adjustment. And it may be not all that comfortable for a few days. If I don't give any sort of expectation that might happen, and it happens, what are they going to be thinking? Oh, I got hurt. I'm now worse off. Well, no, sometimes healing hurts. If you go and get cut on a surgery and get your appendix taken out, you're going to expect that there's going to be some pain in your abdominal cavity, and
you don't just walk away.
You're not going to walk away pain-free, right? Healing hurts sometimes. And so that's no difference when your discs are worn out and we're starting to retrain your curve and turn on muscles that haven't worked in a long time. Sometimes there's going to be some pain associated with that stuff. And so building that expectation and saying, hey, this is what's going on. So I guess bottom line, communication. It's cliche to say, but that's kind of
like that. I feel like that's the biggest thing that is going to separate I don't want to say professionals from non-professionals, in that the non-professionals aren't skilled, right? They don't know what they're doing. But I think one of the biggest things that separate, let's say it this way, one of the biggest things that separates successful businesses from less successful businesses is that communication, but even the preemptive, like you said, of hey, we know that these are some things that you're going to experience before you even get it in your head that you're injured, or that oh, they hurt me, or oh, whatever, before that even whatever. Nope, here's the sheet. Here's the things you can expect. Here's what that next step looks like. And I think that the experience aspect of it, right, that plays just as much of a role in the business as the specific expertise of it's not just the hey, we're gonna adjust. Hey, we're not. It's not just that. It's also hey, here's the experience coming in, during, after. And I feel that holistic thing, that's what really makes for a successful business. You know what I mean? No. So now, did you always know that this is what you wanted to do? Did you were you when they asked you what you wanted to be when you were in kindergarten, I want to be a chiropractor? How did you get into wanting to do this?
No, it's really funny actually when you said from kindergarten. When I was not too young, so don't look at my parents like they were bad parents. But I guess as a teenager, I would watch 2.5 Men. I don't know if anyone's for those of listeners. It's a sitcom with Charlie Sheen and some other actors and actresses. And the kind of slapstick comedy person who is the butt of everybody's joke is actually a chiropractor in that show. And so I kind of grew up in that mindset where a chiropractor is always a funny guy. They're there, not super useful, yada, yada, yada. And so that was never really an option or a route that I was really considering. And through sports injuries in high school, I had some sessions with chiropractors, and a chiropractor really did help me through some tendonitis issues that I was having from baseball. And but even he, for some reason, said try PT first, and if you don't want to do PT, then you can become a chiropractor. But then I was like, okay, so interesting, let me go PT route. And so that's what I was in undergrad for. But then towards the end of undergrad, I shadowed 3 different PT clinics, and nothing to PTs, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't find that I would personally get fulfilled doing that job for the next 30, 40 years. So then after college, I was kind of well, what do I do? Where do I go? So I took a gap year. I worked as a personal trainer, and during that time, I was in the best shape of my life. I was eating super clean, doing all the right things. except I was not very happy.
Yeah.
I was pretty depressed. I was very anxious. I was having panic attacks, and I had pain throughout my body. And I was 22 and 23 at the time. And I was like, I don't like this. And I'm very young. This shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, this is not, yeah.
Like all of my science classes in college told me that I should be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, right? And so I did not want to go the pharmacology route for pain management or for anti-anxiety medication or anything like that. And no knock to those of us who have gone that route. It just wasn't the route I wanted to take. And so I turns out at the gym that I was working at, there was a chiropractor who I went and talked to about my issues. And she said, well, we can do a lot of things with natural health. And, I had the criteria, if I had low back or neck pain severely, then I would go to a chiropractor. But actually my main issue was jaw and then the emotional stuff. I had a lot of jaw pain. And she's like, well, we can adjust jaws. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, it's a joint. We can adjust any joint in the body, including jaws.
I really thought about that until just now. Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah.
And obviously not every joint's adjusted the same way, and there's different things you have to do. But broad strokes, if it's a joint, it can be adjusted. And so I was like, oh, all right, well, let's go. And so I went in, I got my first jaw adjustment, and it was like immediate relaxation of my jaw, which brought me back to when I was 14. I got hit by a baseball bat across the face, shifted my jaw, not like maliciously. I walked up behind somebody doing practice swings, and the bat just happened to hit me across the face. Yeah. But it shifted my jaw. And for 8 years or so, my jaw was opening as a square rather than like a nice and smooth opening. It was kind of like shifting out and back. And so 8 years later, pain in my jaw, tightness in the muscles. And so crazy. Got adjusted, got it shifted back so that it opened smoothly and all the muscles relaxed. And I was like, whoa, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then so I kept going back and went probably twice a week for 2 months or so. And then after the first month, I realized I wasn't having panic attacks anymore.
Yeah.
And my outlook on life was a lot better. Colors were brighter.
Yeah.
All of the cliche stuff that go when you go from depressed to not, you're like, whoa, I see colors in a different way. I appreciate the butterfly flying by, those kind of things. It was all there. Overall, I was just more present, and I didn't have to like work to be present. I was just like, oh, like this is my natural state.
Yeah. So
I was back to being me. And that's kind of when I decided to be a chiropractor, because at that time I was like, well, I guess I'll go med school, go back, get some prereqs, take the MCAT, do all that stuff, because I don't know what else to do, but I wanted to be in the medical field in some way, or in the healthcare field. I just didn't want to be prescribing pills all day, but I didn't know where else to go. And so then I had this experience and I go, okay, so it's not just about low back pain.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes along with chiropractic, and that's the stuff that I want to get into.
Yeah.
And so that's what I got into.
That. Like, okay, so
yeah, so many thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, well no. It's just like the saying earlier, like having that passion, right? For like, I'm really glad I asked you that question, because like, I mean, not that your answer before was bad, but like hey, we have this passion, I'm paraphrasing, but we have this passion for, this low impact, like solutions for people where they don't want to go get their head snapped off. Yeah. That's an exaggeration, but yeah, like that's what we want to do, right? Like that's the kind of mission of Our Patch, right? But like when you take that of like, hey, I don't think it's underselling it to say your life was maybe not changed, but very drastically like improved.
Oh, it was changed.
Changed. Okay, changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So life was changed through like chiropractic care. And like, so you got to see that firsthand. Like, man, that changes it. Like that.
Well, the trajectory of someone's life when you get to them at 22, when I was gotten to at 23, and you're like, all right, I'm at this current route, and you take that route without any sort of intervention that's looking pretty bleak, and then you do something that totally shifts it off course in a good way, and now the trajectory completely changes, and that's what I like to do, is to, I'm not reversing people's lives. I'm not necessarily saving their life in a acute you're bleeding out type of way, but I'm changing the trajectory of your life, which may end up saving them if they're in a bad spot in 20 years,
Well, not even that, but it's like when you're in a spot where like you, I don't say you can't think because of the pain, but it's definitely like it's right in front of you. Like it's kind of, maybe it's not blocking everything, but it's blocking a lot of things. And it's really hard to like see beyond that to like kind of what your life can be and opportunities and like to use what you said, like, you know, it's kind of hard to see the colors and see the butterfly flying by and like just like have that perspective when like, oh, this really hurts and it just keeps hurting and like, is this my life? Am I just stuck here? And like being able to have, I mean, your trajectory changed, and like for you, like having the business, like I could, it makes every bit of sense why you became a chiropractor, because it's like you had your life just changed by that, and being able to be that change for other people, 100%. Also, as a side note, I feel like my wife Elizabeth, she does what she went to college for. She works in radio, and my older sister is a special education teacher. Those are, and maybe if I thought I could probably come up with maybe 2 or 3 other people that actually do what they went to college for. Like they walked into a college knowing this is what I want to do, and then actually did it. All the rest of us, no. Like all the rest of us, just whatever. And even to your point of saying like, oh, I didn't want to be a chiropractor because they were like looked down on, you know, like societally or whatever. I remember being in college. I was a theology major. I distinctly remember being in college, and like I had people that I knew who were like arts and creative and photography majors and like that kind of thing. And I distinctly remember thinking like, oh, I could never do that. It's so unstable. Like it's not, you know, like that's not a good career choice. Look at me now, you know? So it's just, it's wild because it's like I don't know, I think a lot of people think they know what they're going to do with their life. And then I think you live some life and you kind of realize like, actually this is like what I thought was where I thought I was going is actually not it. Like I'm actually a lot better. Like this is actually where I need to be, but you're not, but the version of you that's going to realize that's not you yet. So like for you, it seems crazy, but then like give it a couple of years and that version of you is going to look at this and be like, oh, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. You know, like I love this, you know?
It's so funny that you bring that up because I remember in my second, so chiropractic school is 14 quarters. I'm getting that. Yeah, 14 quarters. Yep. So 3.5 years in our program. And I remember in my second quarter, training in traditional chiropractic. That's what I thought I was going to do. And I remember hearing a speech from a NUCA chiropractor, which is the specialty that I do now.
Yep.
Low force, upper neck. You know, I'm not. If you look at the adjustment, it looks like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me once that you adjusted somebody and you had to like show them. You had to show them like the before and the after.
Yeah.
Of like, nope, you see. Right there,
this
like
is the change.
That's what we did. It's like that's it. It's like but don't you feel a lot better? Yeah. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I remember. So he was giving this talk about what he was doing, and I remember thinking, this is so dumb. Like you're not doing anything. Why would you only do this? You can do this. You can do that. Why would you only do this? It's not doing anything. And then like fast forward, 9 quarters or so when I got into actually studying NUCA, I actually learned about it. I went to a conference and learned the science behind it and learned the before and after checks and learned this and learned that. I'm like, oh, yeah. So it just appears like you're doing nothing, but everything is under the surface, which I really like.
Yeah.
There's no flair. It's just, this is what I did. This is the proof.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. You'll feel better. Or you'll heal better and all that.
Yeah. One is like the, so now NUCA, is it, so you said 14 quarters?
So the schooling for chiropractic school is 14
Is NUCA
quarters.
like an additional? Okay. How long? What's the additional for NUCA?
So it depends.
Okay.
So it's all extracurricular. So it was taught through the school, and so I got some training for about 5 quarters into it through the school, and then their clinic requirements. So you take care of people with a doc mentoring you and making sure you're doing the right thing, and all that stuff, and kind of coaching you along the way. Well, there's a NUCA doc there that was supervising, and so I got to manage some cases and train that, and then conferences. And then I worked for 3 years Nope. 2 years. 2 years in San Francisco at an office, NUCA office there. So, and the head doc there was a NUCA in practice for 15 or 16 years at the time that I started. So that was kind of like I was an associate. I was taking care of patients with NUCA, and then we would do training, and she would kind of coach me through making sure I was doing the right thing and kind of teach me the ropes, if you will, kind of a residency kind of deal. And then when I decided San Francisco was not the place that I wanted to live, just couldn't stand it because it was right in the height of COVID. It was a whole thing.
Oh yeah,
it was not as fun as it sounds, and not as fun as it was before the shutdowns and the world got weird and all that stuff. So we wanted out, and I couldn't handle being in San Francisco anymore. So we moved, and here we are.
How did it? Okay, so I feel like and maybe there wasn't, but I feel like was there a moment where you like knew, okay, not just like, hey, I want to be a chiropractor, but like, hey, I want to be a chiropractor. I want to do NUCA. Like where you were like, there was this moment where it's like, oh my gosh, like this, like, yes, like this is what I want to do. This is awesome. Like, did you have a moment like that where you're like, this is just so like, I can't imagine doing something else. Like, this is what this is what I'm meant to do.
I had that for chiropractic in general, like just, I'm going to be a chiropractor moment. I didn't have that for NUCA, or upper cervical chiropractic. It was just kind of steps along that way that changed my trajectory and outlook, that kind of like, I like this better, and this works better on me because, I need care too. And this is what my body prefers and what my mind prefers. But no, so as part of that, like, not having panic attacks and not being depressed anymore after a month or so of care, I actually distinctly remember a moment where I was driving back from an adjustment about a month into care, and I remember like the doctor did an adjustment on like the base of my skull, which I know now to be the atlas, so C1, your first cervical vertebra. But I didn't know at the time.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it until just now.
So I just remember her hands were like way up base of my skull, and she like put a force into my neck. It kind of hurt. I didn't really notice much at the time, but there was changes, in my physiology, like balanced out different things that showed an improvement objectively. And then I remember driving home. And it was like kind of a rainy day. And I remember like the wipers on the car were like doing this. And I legit was like, with the wiper, my vision went from like grayscale to vibrant colors. And it was like a rainy day. And like the sun didn't come out. So it wasn't like, the clouds parted and the sun came out, and that's why it was vibrant. It was like nothing external changed, but with the wiper, my vision completely changed. And I was like, I didn't know this was possible. I'm going to be a chiropractor. This is cool. this Other people have to know that this is possible.
Now, okay. Now you and Ashley, did y'all meet? Like, were you both independently chiropractors and then met? Like,
met at school.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
So technically, and Ashley gives me shit for this all the time. I'm going to preface this by saying I was a shithead, and I found myself in chiropractic school, but I was a shithead beforehand. Very smart, but a shithead. And so we actually met in a prospective student weekend, like 6 months before I started school, and a year and 6 months before she started school. And she tells a story because she noticed me very specifically in the prospective student weekend, and being the shithead that I was, I did not, or I noticed her. Apparently we conversed, but I did not remember. So but in my defense, it was a year and a half afterwards. Anyway, I'm not going to defend myself. I was a shithead. She walked into school, and I was one of the first persons she saw, and I was like, I remember you. And so she pursued me, and I was like, well, pump the brakes. This is a long program. We got to make sure we're going to be compatible.
Yeah.
Because it's a small space.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, it's going to be super awkward for
Yeah.
3 years. So I was like, well, pump the brakes. She got me with the Luke Bryan concert.
Nice.
And the rest is history. Here we are.
What's that like? What's that like getting to build Our Patch like with her?
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Also, Our Patch wouldn't be here if not for her.
Oh yeah.
She is the mastermind behind the branding and the even the idea.
Yeah.
I'm a really good doctor.
Yeah.
She
I stay in my lane. This is what I do
also
really well.
a really good doctor.
Yeah.
But she isn't even, I don't want to say, but equally as good businesswoman and CEO mindset. I'm like, if we had to do the whole C-suite rules, she's the CEO and probably the CFO.
Yeah.
I'm the COO.
There you go. Yeah.
And then the clinic director.
Yeah, but I feel like that's one of the coolest things is how people are wired. Like it's just they're just who they are as a person. Like they just have these natural giftings and tendencies to do these. Not that they can't do the other things if they like push came to shove. Like this has got to get done, right? But like this is what they just do. Like it's just easy, it's natural, like, or maybe it's not easy, they have to kind of learn some skills, but it's like it comes easier to them than like it would to somebody else. And that's always fascinated me. Like, for example, I'm not a numbers person. Do I do numbers? Can I handle numbers? Yes, I can do them. But that is not what Dusty does. Like, let's say this. That's not what Dusty wants to do. Dusty does it because he has to, but Dusty's not like, you know what I really want to do today? I want to look at spreadsheets. You know what I love? Taxes. Like, no. Nope. I have a lovely CPA. He's great. Yes. Big fan. Like, I just give that to him.
Yep.
But it's so cool being able to build when you find somebody else that like has the I don't say that like they have the skills that you lack, but like they have very like complementary skills. Like you guys are able to kind of make that like whole unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, so you mentioned the business. Like, did she come up with the name Our Patch? Like, is that okay? What's the like why Our Patch?
Yeah, so we love the like garden of life motif, but it's so overused in like the holistic space. And
I appreciate that y'all didn't have like a tree.
Tree of life chiropractic, garden of life chiropractic. We're like, okay, there's so many of those, and while it's a great motif, it's overused, and we're like, okay, well, I like the idea, but not that specific thing. And she actually had an internship at a Acorn Chiropractic Club.
Okay, I've seen a lot of those.
Yep.
Yep.
There's a few. Well, I don't know if it's become a national thing, but there was a couple locations in Northern California. This specific chain, I don't know, multiple location business, and there was some like things that they did that we were like, oh, that's pretty cool. And we liked the idea of having a base tree with acorns being the patients and things like that. So we're like, well, okay, what can we do that's similar but not a total ripoff? And then we love fall because we met in the fall, we started dating in the fall, we got married in the fall.
Big fall people.
It's super fun. Got married on an apple farm in the fall in California. It's super cool. So fall's our time. Well, what's in the fall? Pumpkin patches. Everybody loves a good pumpkin patch, and it's so child friendly. There's a lot you can do with it, and the idea is great because the more pumpkins you have, the better the patch is. The more patients we have, the better the patch is. But you have to nurture each patient, otherwise pumpkin doesn't do so well. So it's like that's the idea. And so we like to plant our seeds of health and watch them sprout.
Well, and like it's cool that like, so from a branding perspective, I've always really appreciated y'all's just the whole thing, because like it's so I'm going to pick on roofers for a second because they're easy targets. If you have a roofing company, 9 times, not some of them are okay and they do a good job with their branding. I should clarify. A lot of them do good jobs with roofing, but like with branding, like 9 times out of 10, if it's a roofing company, what are they going to have in their logo? Like in the logo, a roof. And it's like, yes, thank you. I know you're a roofing company. Want to know why I know you're a roofing company? Because you say you're a roofing company. And it's just very like, boring. Like it's just very like, did you make this on Canva? Like this, it's not like, and you know what? Like maybe that's not a priority for them, like a branding and like kind of storytelling and stuff. Right. But what I love about what you guys have done is it's like, it fits it kind of what you said, where I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, you know, we knew we wanted to go with this garden of life, this motif, this not virality, what am I looking for? This vitality, life, growing, like we wanted to go in this space, right? But then you made it yours, where it wasn't just like, we're going to be an acorn because everyone is an acorn or a tree or whatever. Like, we're just going to like, or the thing that I've seen with a lot of chiropractors is it's the spine. And it's like, yes, you're a chiropractor. Of course, there's a spine involved, you know, but like you guys were like, hey, this is the heart of what we want to do, but then we're going to make it ours and make it unique, and not unique for unique's sake. Like, hey, we're just going to make it different just so we're different. But like, hey, we're going to make it ours because it just needs to be that way. And you have a real reason for it being yours, you know? Big fan. Plus, the pumpkin's super cute. And there's a ton you guys can do from like
much
merch and packaging and branding.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Are y'all doing like a merch line?
Not in the planning currently, but yes.
Well, I mean, you guys have.
We currently have some T-shirts, but we have other things that are on our mind of what we want to do, like little squishies or something like that. It would be super. It's gonna take some planning.
Little pumpkin,
little PJ.
Whatever.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
So our mascot's name is PJ.
PJ. Oh, he has a name. Okay, yeah.
PJ Balmer.
PJ. Nice.
And it's got some layers to it.
Okay.
You want to go into that?
Yeah, please.
It's totally inside jokes, and so it's only funny to like us. But maybe if I explain it, it'll be like cool.
Sure.
So PJ Balmer is an homage to BJ Palmer, who was like the developer of chiropractic. He was like, his dad discovered like, hey, adjusting this guy's neck took deafness away.
Yeah.
And then because it was 1895. They thought, oh, I found the cure for deafness. Like every else who discovers something, they said, I found the cure for everything. Yeah. And so they said, okay, cool, we found the cure for deafness. And so everybody who was deaf came to say, oh, we can cure deafness. And that didn't work. Well, we didn't really get any more deafness cases that were reversed, but people's blood pressure started getting better, pain got better, different things happening. So D.D. Palmer, which was the original guy, was like, hey, there's something here. And then a lot of drama happened, but essentially the son, BJ Palmer, took it over, and that's who kind of spearheaded the development and tried to figure out the science behind what's actually happening. How do we properly detect misalignments in the spine, or subluxations, as we call it, and how do we correct it, all that stuff. And so that's kind of who really brought it to the masses, was BJ Palmer. So
and y'all's pumpkin's name is PJ Palmer.
Our pumpkin's name is PJ Balmer.
Or PJ Balmer, excuse me. That's cute.
And that's because in school, my friend group, we had just made stupid jokes about like replacing the first word of like 2-word things.
Yeah.
People's names. So like Van Iarwick was my like,
oh, nice,
fun. So it's stupid stuff like that. So we're like, all right, let's do PJ Balmer just as a homage there.
That. Y'all, okay, so what y'all need to do? Y'all need to give her a name tag.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Friend of ours kind of helped us start the business funds, and his nickname is Patch Adam. And so Patch Jr.
Aww.
Little homage to him too. So.
I love that. Okay. They need to have the squishies need to have a little name tag.
Oh, okay.
A little like, you know what I mean? Because then what's super okay. Totally unsolicited advice. What I would do is I would have the squishy, and then make, even if it's like a little card or something like that, have a little like the story, like, hey, this is why his name is this, you know what I mean? And that way you're like, so thinking like the first time like somebody comes in on like for a visit, like they get a little baggie that's got like a little pumpkin on it and it's a little squishy, and then there's a card and, you know, a couple stickers and whatever. But like because in it like I want a PJ squishy now. Like I like, and mainly because like it was cute. Like it was just as a squishy, and like the branding and stuff is cute. But then like the name behind it, like even more so. Because now it's like, oh, like, but it's like the reason he's named this is because he was the guy that like really kind of started chiropractic care, and it's just like it's. If you'd named him Chad, it would have been fine. You know what I mean? Like it still would have been cute. But the fact that you've got like that level of intentionality to it just makes it that much more engaging. Like it's just that much more like, oh, this is really like there was intentionality to this.
Yeah.
There was thought. You know what I mean?
And it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. Yeah. And it's fun. And then like having the Patch Junior, where it's just like being able to like make it. Like, I mean, literally going back to what I said about you guys, like just the brand. Like you guys, hey, we could have been an acorn or a tree of life, but like we wanted to be something that was, and we knew the direction, we knew the kind of the core of where we wanted to go with it, but like we wanted to make it ours. It's killer. I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, so whenever there's a squishy, just let me know, and we'll
let you know.
We can figure that out. Okay, so kind of the, I don't know why my voice broke there. Kind of the
so emotional.
Yeah, I know. It's just PJ. Golly, dropped a coaster. My voice is breaking. This is going to enter the episode. The last thing that I always kind of like to wrap the episode with, right? So 3 years in business. I mean, obviously you guys have had a lot of success, and I'm sure like a lot of lessons and things like that, right? Yeah. Like what is, like if you could give like one like nugget of like wisdom, advice, whatever, to somebody who is wanting to like start a business, grow a business, I'll leave it that open-ended, but like what would you tell them? What would you advise them? Like, yeah, what would you want them to know?
First, does anybody actually like have one thing that?
Yeah. So the biggest one I think so far has been coaching, of like the benefits of a coach, of having something like that. Coaching, personal developments come up sometimes, of like it's not just a business, you got to work on you too. I'm sure there's other ones. That's just, I think those are the two that really, the first like 5 episodes was like coaching, which I mean, look, I have firsthand benefited from having a business coach. So I was just like, yes, coaching. And I would still say like, that's definitely something, if you don't have a coach, like you need to get a coach. You need someone on the sidelines who who's doing what you want to be doing, where you want to be, and get them to tell you how they do what they do, and save yourself a whole lot of heartache and whatever. But yes, coaching. But anyway, that doesn't have to be your answer.
Yeah. That's not my answer. All great answers, not to knock that answer. My thing is figure out what your core service or your core product is, and get really good at that.
I love that.
And then expand as you can, and not expand too fast, because especially in the chiropractic world, there's so many therapies, there's so many different supplement companies, there's so many different things that chiropractors will take on and put into their business. But the ones that work are the ones who are really set in a foundation. Like, this is our main thing. And all of those other stuff are ancillary, because we already do this really well. And so we can add that stuff. Not that saying that stuff's not beneficial. Yeah. But, if you do all of that stuff too fast, you're not going to be so good at that one thing that you're known for that one thing. And then it's kind of one of those jack of all trades, master of none. So get masterful at one thing, and then you can add more trades as you need to.
So what I always think of with that is there was a time which I went through a lot of different things I thought I wanted to be, but at one point I wanted to open a restaurant. The story, so Top Shelf, where the name comes from, is a bar. So because I worked in restaurants from I was like 16 all through until Top Shelf. Cool. Top Shelf just came from like working in restaurants, and basically we started off as content, and so it was like we wanted to make content for people that for the same reasons that you would put specific bourbons or liquor or whatever on a top shelf. You want to show it off because you want people to see that when they come in, of like, oh, they have like whatever bottle and all that. But then also it's valuable. You don't want to put your $200 bottle of scotch on the bar and have like the newbie bar back knock over and break your $200 bottle. So you're gonna put it up there because it's valuable to you, but you want to show it off. And that was kind of the thought behind Top Shelf. And it was just kind of inherent like quality and stuff. But all that to say, there was a period where Dusty was like, I want to open a restaurant. Would I do that now? Absolutely not. Nope. Way too hard. But I really got into there's a show with Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay has like a ton of shows, but it wasn't Hell's Kitchen. It was like I don't remember the name of it, but it basically he would go to like different restaurants that were like failing, that were doing horrible, and he would just go
kitchen makeover or something like that.
Yeah, kitchen makeover or something. It's something like kitchen makeover or something.
Yeah.
But what you know what I'm talking about. So he would go and basically like diagnose like their problem of like, this is what you're. Whatever. And it was obvious. There were some pretty consistent things across the board, but sometimes there were specifics. But I always remember this one episode where I kid you not, this restaurant's menu was like 7 pages long. I mean, and it was like, listen, you could go to this restaurant and you could get lasagna or fish or spaghetti
like
or a
Factory.
steak or a burger or a gyro or a pizza, or I mean, they did everything, and it was just like none of it was good. But that's because they were doing everything. Like they didn't have a specialty. Their specialty was whatever you were willing to pay them to do.
Right.
And there's not a lot of value there, right? Versus like other restaurants where you go and it's a page. And there's 3 options. And there's the only 3 things that they do. But you better believe that those 3 things that they offer, that's going to be one of the best ones of those 3 things that you ever had in your life.
Yeah.
And but that's because they specialize in it. They're like, hey, we're going to do these 3 things really, really well. Yep. They could do the other, 50 things that other restaurant was doing, but they don't. They say, hey, we're going to do these 3. And like, I feel like that's where you really get like the quality. And that's where you're able to provide a really high level of service, because you're able to say, hey, like, not that we couldn't do these other things, but these specific things that we're choosing to do, like we are the best at these things, you know? I love that.
Because we're 3 years in and we're just starting to add stuff to our business, and not from the other thing is like you can add stuff in from a financial need, or because you actually see that it'll benefit your patients. And so we are adding things not because we need to, because our business was successful with just chiropractic care, but because we thought, okay, these are other aspects that are different from chiropractic care, but still in kind of the purview of natural and holistic health. So let's selectively bring some other stuff in there to kind of help fill in the gaps, where now maybe this patient doesn't have to go to Gardner's and buy your generic supplement. They can get a really high quality supplement from us and know what they're getting, that it's going to do the desired effect. And then on the business side of things, we get to retain some more money that the patient's going to spend anyway. It's now just being spent at our business instead of somewhere else. But it's not from a need from our business, but because we see a gap, let's fill it with something quality that's going to help our patients. And if we add too many things too fast, people are doing it because of money. They're not going to do it because it actually helps their patient, or because, so.
We started doing content initially. That's all we did, was like photography, videography. That's what we were like known for. Hence, the name Top Shelf Media. And what we realized, it was about 2-ish, 3 years ago, was like all the people that we were helping with content, in that, not all of them, there was like 1 or 2, but most of the people we were working with, like we would kind of get into doing the content, right? And we do a lot of video stuff. Like that's a big thing that we do. And we like, well, why are we making this video? Tell me about your business. Well, we make, I have nothing against roofers, but I'm gonna pick on a roofer. Like we do roofs. Awesome. We need to go deeper than that.
Right.
Like that's not enough, right?
What sets you apart?
Like that's not, I mean, like, yes, we want to show what you do, but also at the end of the day, like what's really going to like set you apart from other people in this space is not just like showing how you solve problems, how you do, right? Like that's the physical build the roof, right? It's what you do, right? It's the solution you provide. It's the problem you solve. That's what they ultimately care about. Nobody is spending the money, but it's like, you know what I really want? I want a new roof. They're spending the money because there's a leak, right? Or they're upping the property value to sell it, or whatever the reason is, right? So it's like, that's what we need to focus in on, right? And then you have the why of like, that's the core, like purpose behind the brand. Like, and when you're able to communicate from a branding and a marketing perspective, that's powerful. Whether it's in person, it's content, it's whatever medium you're using, like that, oh my gosh, like you cut the noise, like you stand out, right? We were doing that, but we weren't telling people that we did it. It was kind of just like we would be sitting and doing a video and we're kind of just pulling the bits and pieces of that out of people, right? There really actually were a couple projects where we were like almost making it up, not making it up. We were almost like putting it together with them in the spot while we're doing the video, right? Yeah. Because we're just kind of like, oh, you told me about that. Well, I think what you like, your what, right? Like the problem you solve is this. Mm-hmm. Tell me about this, and then it would click, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. And they would see a lot of results from that content, right? So then finally we were like, okay, we need to talk about strategy, because at the end of the day, like whether we make their content, they do their own content, whatever the execution of the content looks like, they need strategy. Like that is a just need, right? Yeah. For especially like small, medium size, bigger businesses, they typically figure it out at some point, but small, medium-sized businesses, like they just don't think about that. Like that's just not something they think about, which means if they are spending money on professional content, I don't say they're wasting their money, but they're definitely not getting their full value, right? So but then we would give people this content, the photos, the video, and it's like, great. What do we do with it?
And it just sits in a folder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it just sits on a hard drive forever, and they never really. And again, not that they like wouldn't like post something on Instagram or whatever, but there was no execution, no strategy to that of like, when are we posting? Where are we posting it? Like getting the maximum value of that, right? Mm-hmm. Whether that's like, hey, we're going to have this strategy on the specific platform, whether we're doing this multiple platform thing, and then it's evolved into like, hey. Like rather than hey, just here's some content, best of luck, I hope it works out for you. It's like, hey, let's walk through that whole process with people. You know what I mean? And make sure that like not only are we just providing the content, but like, hey, let's make sure they're getting the maximum like return on this from day one with the strategy, but also through the execution. Yeah. Are
you familiar with the E-Myth?
I am, yes.
Yeah, that's the whole concept of the E-Myth. Mm-hmm. Really good at roofing. Yep. Sorry, roofers, man. Seriously, nothing gets that just happens to be the topic.
We're going to lose all of our roofing viewers. They're just going to not listen anymore.
But it's applicable to any business. You know, you're really good at roofing, so that's all you know. And you're like, oh, I'm good at roofing. Let me start my own business. Especially nowadays, that's like the thing to do. Which I love, being an entrepreneur myself. That's start your own business. It's a lot of fun. But then you're like really good at roofing, but then you don't realize, there's other hats that you have to wear. Mm-hmm. And I think that's such a value that y'all provide is for folks who don't have that skill already to help bring that out of them, because they don't even know what questions to ask most of the time, unless there is a coach or a content creator manager to help them piece it out.
Yeah. When it's like that, you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I was having a conversation with a guy today actually, where he's doing like some stuff on like Instagram, right? Mostly. But he has kind of two phases to his business. One of them is like a B2C where it's like working with individual clients. But what he really needs to be doing, and he said it himself, because where he's going to see more like revenue and consistent revenue is the corporate side, like working with teams for like team building and things like that. But it was like, okay, cool. Well, what are you doing content wise? Well, really just doing like the B2C stuff. Awesome. Well, if we want to do this, we got to talk to this audience, right? And in the sense of like the topics, but also like, hey, like we got to get granular on this client, right? Yeah. What do they look like? What do they sound like? What do they smell like? What are their problems? Like what is the problem that what you do solves for them? Awesome. Then we reverse engineer that. And it's like, okay, hey, congratulations. This is your new subject material. This is what you need to be talking about. This is what you need to be putting out. But then also, Instagram is not the place for B2C. Or excuse me, Instagram is the place for B2C. Sorry, Instagram is the place for B2C. Instagram is not really as effective of a place for B2B. Right. You can, but like where you're going to see way more return, especially if you're doing like just your content yourself, is a platform like LinkedIn. You just will. Like it's just because it is very much like Facebook for businesses, right? Right. So like that was even a kind of another part of that conversation of like, hey, we need to change. Well, he's doing it himself. So he needs to change like his topic and his conversation of what he's talking about, because he needs to get away from the how he does and to the what, the solution, the problem he solves, right? But then also need to get granular on the specific problems that he's solving for the specific ideal clients that he really wants to reach. But then we got to make sure that he's putting that in the spot where that's going to be easily or best. That's not the word I want to use. readily available, easy to
Mhm.
find for the clients that he knows he wants to be in front of.
Yeah.
Right.
Reaching your target audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but that's one of it's my favorite thing working with clients is doing that, because the biggest, most valuable thing that we do, especially in 2025, where I think Apple just dropped like the iPhone 350 or whatever it is now, and it's this super great camera and blah 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 whatever. Like the reality is, people can do their own content. Like in 2025, you do not need a professional. I'm going to put myself out of a job. You do not need a professional content producer. You do not need the cameras and the lights and the whatever. Are they great? Yes. Do they add value? Do they, kind of inspire authority and scale? And yes, 100%. They're not bad things, right? But you don't need a professional content person to get started.
Mhm.
What you need is strategy.
Yeah.
What you need is like, hey, this is what we're doing it, but this is the why we're doing it. You know what I mean? I'm going to connect two things here. Like you guys with your brand, right? It wasn't just like, we're going to be the acorn or the tree of life, the whatever. It's like, hey, we know we want to go in this direction, but this is why our patch. Like, this is why we're doing, this is why we do this specific thing that we're doing, whole tangent. We should do some content around that. But last thing, because we are kind of running, oh, wow, we're doing good. We're running on time. So with our patch, right? Before we talk like socials and kind of where they can find you and stuff, 3 years growth, obviously like second child on the way, like you guys have like a lot coming up, right?
Yeah.
What's the plan for our patch? What's kind of like next? Like what's the goal for you guys in like the next year, right? Next year, 2 years.
We'd like to hire another doc
Okay.
on for the pediatric side of things to take some pressure off of Dr. Ashley so she can spend some more time with the kids.
Gotcha.
And then that'd be like within a year we'd like to do that. 3 years we'll be outgrowing our space for sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get a bigger building or open a second location. We're kind of weighing the two options. I'm leaning towards bigger building and moving. There's some logistical nightmares with having to move an x-ray room and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because it's like a installed machine. Like you can't really pick that thing up and move it.
No, hire someone professionally, and a lot of times the unit breaks in transit, and then it's just a whole headache to do that. So that's kind of the only thing that I'm kind of like, all right, well, maybe we'll just open a second location. Sure. Because there's also an imaging technology that I want that we can't buy until we pay off the x-ray, but x-ray will be paid off by the time we open up.
It's time for a new toy.
And then it's it's a cone beam CT. It's
I love those.
Super cool. Super low radiation dosage, but it basically gives me a 3D reconstructed version of your neck.
So like 3D, like the whole
3D, you can turn it around. You can see every blemish of and I can do a lot with the x-rays, but there are just new imaging technologies that come through. Problem is they're quite expensive.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So, but also it kind of evens out because you don't have to lead shield the room because all the x-rays are contained internally. And so, there's benefits to it. Not right now, but I would like to get one of those. Yeah. So that's kind of like, well, maybe we get a second location, and that's our CBCT location, and this one is our X-ray location, and whatever the patient needs. But then, what if they need both, and they have to go to two? So anyway, it's just a pain. Yeah. I think right now, if you were to ask me, if we're doing it now, I would look for a bigger building just to move to, and make sure it's big enough where it can take both imaging technologies. And, and then there's other things I want to add. I want to add a movement rehab person to deal with the software of people's motion. I can deal with the hardware, but then there's software issues, whereas control of muscles that come from brains that would need some rehab. And especially if there's brain injuries, a lot of that stuff needs to be retrained. So concussions and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that I want to do that's going to take time to grow that side and space. And we just, I want a massage therapist on site. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah. Don't have space for it. So I think that's where I'd like to be in 3 years. It's just to move to a bigger space, hopefully a single building, buy the building.
That's what's so cool though is A, first off, totally doable for you guys.
Totally.
But B, because you guys already have like the core together, like the foundational, like this is what we do really, really well, and we know that we're the best at this, and like this is us. You know what I mean? Like now you guys are kind of in that really fun. Not the core wasn't fun, but like getting to kind of add on these more specialized, these specific like things that are just enhancing what you guys like your core offerings that you do. Getting to enhance it, but then also like, I don't know, like just as a, like, I feel it's one of the, I mean, I don't know because we rent this place, but like one of the things I'm looking forward to too, that I can definitely share with you is the, like being able to like own your building. Like this is our building. Like this is, that's just, I feel like that's such a, no matter what your business is, that's such a milestone. Being able to like, see that thing? That's ours. The mortgage is ours too, but the building, you know what I mean? Like it's just cool, you know?
Right.
It's a very big, like, mama, we made it milestone, you know what I mean? But that's just cool. That's cool. Like you guys being able to like continue to build on the foundation, but then also like get into like the specifics and like, or not specifics, but like be able to go in on like more like unique offerings, right? That I also just keep setting you guys apart, you know?
Right. Well, it's also, unless you get really good at that beginning thing, the core, you don't really know what holes that need to be filled. That's really going to work synergistically. You know, we got really good at well, it's always growing, getting better every day. But we got really good at what we need to do for chiropractic care. But what holes can we fill then? All right, these things I can see as a limitation. All right, let's fill that. This is a limitation. Let's fill that. And the things that and currently we're like, well, we're in a limited space. So what can we do with the space we have to fill in those gaps? And so we're doing those. But there are certain things that I know would be really beneficial. We don't have space for it. So that's in the next iteration.
That's dope, dude. Well, where can people find you? Our Patch, the socials, all the things.
So socials at Our Patch Family Chiro. So kind of like Sour Patch, but without the S.
We'll throw a graphic up.
So Our Patch Family Chiro on Instagram. We also have Our Patch Nuka. So the Our Patch Family Chiro is the Instagram that's more geared towards the pediatric and perinatal side of the practice. And then Our Patch Nuka is, so Our Patch NUCCA is the upper cervical side of the practice. So that'd be more what my purview is. Facebook, I'm pretty sure we have Facebook, but we're not super active on it. Google profile, Our Patch Family Chiropractic. Website, ourpatchfamilychiro.com. Email hello@ourpatchfamilychiro.com.
No, where are y'all located?
So right across from Haywood Mall, so across the freeway, next to Stacks Omega. That's kind of the big restaurant that a lot of people locally know. But on Orchard Park Drive. So if you exit 385 on Haywood, go away from the Haywood Mall 1 block, and that's Orchard Park Drive. And then you turn on that, and we're like a block down the road.
Gotcha.
Right next to Paywood Medical Campus, next to the post office there. So that's kind of
pretty centrally located.
Yep. Yeah. Easy to get to, just right off the freeway. But it doesn't feel like you're off the freeway. It's really cool. It's like tucked away, so you don't feel like you're not getting freeway sins.
For any of the local people local to upstate South Carolina, Haywood Road is a whole experience. So,
oh my gosh,
being like that's cool. Y'all are like centrally located, but not like in the madness of like when Christmas comes around, you guys aren't like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to go. I don't want to go to work today. I don't. Do I have to?
No, it's kind of like you're like on Haywood Road and you feel the anxiety just of being on that road, and then you turn off and you're like,
this is much better. This is a much better place to be.
I like this place better.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having
guys, thanks for checking out the Top Shelf Show. Be sure to do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out the Top Shelf Show. We hope that you walk away feeling inspired by the stories, by the lessons that these entrepreneurs, these business owners have learned and that they shared with us in this episode. We want to congratulate you in advance on the success that you're about to have in your own business, and we cannot wait to hear from you one day and possibly have you on the show. So be sure to check out the next episode, and as always, you can reach us on all of our social media platforms here. And thank you guys. We'll see you next time.